Namaste viewers. Welcome to our today's episode on non-destructive testing. Before we begin, I would like to share our journey of connecting with you through these videos. So it was a very nice experience, but we are experiencing a very bitter condition as people. There are 93% of the viewers who visit are not subscribing. So it is very important for us to get your support in order to continue these videos. So I would ask you to subscribe our channel and also share these videos with your friends and your contacts through LinkedIn, through Facebook, and all the possible social media platforms. So we will start with today's video. It is related to non-destructive testing. So what is this non-destructive testing? When we have a product, so that product before being commissioned has to undergo certain tests. Like for example, this episode is related to joining methods, joining of I will say pipe. So when two pipes are joined together by means of welding, then we have something called as testing procedure. So it can be a destructive testing wherein the weld joint is destroyed, and if we want to preserve it, then we have something another technique which is the non-destructive testing. So if there may be a doubt in your mind that if the welding itself is destroyed, then what is the purpose of what is the purpose of welding that earlier? So actually the component itself is not destroyed. If certain part of that component is intentionally left, uh, which is called as a coupon plate. I will make a separate video on the destructive testing, the ISOD and CHARPy test, and there are certain machines actually, tensile testing machine and all. So how actually this destructive test is being done without destroying the actual component or actual job. A part of that is being destroyed, which is intentionally. I can say that intentionally it is connected with that component for testing purpose. So we will take it afterwards. So now we will see that non-destructive testing, NDT, it is most commonly known as, is the process of inspecting, testing, or evaluating material, components, or assemblies for discontinuities or differences in characteristics without destroying the serviceability of the part or system. In other words, when the inspection or test is completed, the part can still be used. That's the basic definition. As I said in my earlier comment that the NDT is applicable for the welded components to check the quality of weld joint. Additionally, it can also be used to identify the quality of castings. So if there is any blowhole or any gas inclusion inside the casting, and because of which the casting is weak. So basically the NDT methods used in industry are visual inspection, ultrasonic testing, magnetic particle test, penetrant test or the dye penetrant test, eddy current test, and radiography. So in this today's episode, we are going to see some of the primary methods of NDT, which do not require any sophisticated device, and from the cost point of view also they are very economical one. So first is the visual inspection. So visual inspection means whatever inspection of the joint that can be conducted by the naked eye, and of course the magnifying glass what we can see here is the visual inspection process. There is a certified uh, welding inspector, and there is a certification program for that, who is qualified for conducting this kind of tests. So visual inspection is one of that. So by means of this magnifying glass we can see that he is trying to identify if any cracks are there, minute hair cracks, hairline cracks. So this is one of the cheapest and very quickest method, and of course it is effective also. So if there is nothing found in visual inspection, then eh, of course for the pressure tight joints, high pressure piping, you require radiography. Visual inspection itself is not a sufficient one. So let's move forward and we will see the second one, that is the dye penetration test or the penetrant test. So what actually is dye penetrant test? So as we have seen in the earlier image, there was a welded joint, and if suppose there are some dye which we can see here red color, and what happens, this dye will penetrate inside the cracks or minute holes which may not be visible when there is no dye applied on it. So afterwards there is a process of completely removing that dye. So removal of penetrant by means of some cleaning agents, thinners. So it is removed. So afterwards what happens, the dye which has penetrated inside the cracks will appear like this, which is shown in the picture here. So there are certain methods wherein they also apply a monochrome light, and inside the darkness, and wherever there are cracks the dye glows up and shows that, indicates that there is a problem or there is a discontinuity, there is a crack, there is a blowhole, not blowhole, but there is a hole or dimple inside that joint. So this is how the dye penetration works. Basically it shows the crack and the defects in the joint. So this is all a short introduction about the NDT. In the coming session, we are going to see that what are the sophisticated methods of the NDT that we are going to see in the next episode. So don't forget to watch that episode, and thank you for watching this episode. Have a nice day. Certain cracks which cannot be visible with the visual eye or even the with the magnifying glass. So then the simplest test is the dye penetration test. What it is done, actually the surface where we have to check for the defects or the which has to be tested is coated with a paint actually.